Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Marvis Obonea, and I am the Chief Communications Officer at Steamboat. For those of you who don't know, we interview various of students who have showcased an interest in STEAM and or exceptional leadership skills. That's why I am so pleased to announce our next student, Nephetetti Porter. Now, before we begin, Nephetetti, or can I call you Neph?
Of course.
Can you please introduce and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi. I'm part of honor choir, mock trial, interact club, theater, as well as choir club. And
Yes,
I'm also on the student board, student site council as secretary.
that's so impressive. You mentioned that you were part of honor choir. Can you please go into more in depth with that?
Of course, it's a 3-day event with rehearsals nonstop. So it's a constant, we're constantly rehearsing. And I liked it a lot because I was around so many like-minded people and people trying to get into the choral world as well, being in choir out in the real world and getting into things like that. And I got to meet a lot of famous composers and choir directors as well. So I was pretty happy with that. It was a
That
very good experience too.
that sounds like an amazing experience. You mentioned before that you're part of your school's choir too. Can you please go into your experience in that?
Mhm. Yeah, I am president of choir for senior year, and I was a treasurer for my junior year. And I had to work with a new choir director because halfway through the year, well, at the end of the year, we had gotten a new one after the old one had left. And she was there for 7 years, so she had a lot of experience at the school. So working with a new choir director was, I thought it was going to be troubling at first, a little harder, but we went through the year. It was really good. And yeah, also like, of course, it's going to have a few time you're gonna need time to get used to it. But once I did, it was nice. A lot of people enjoy the new choir director as well, and I enjoy working with them.
That sounds like a very difficult experience. Thank you for sharing. You mentioned before that you're also part of theater. Can you please go more in depth in that?
I am. So for theater, it's a really great thing to do spare time to get to know people. I have met so many amazing people, absolutely like angels doing that. Most of my friends, I made most of my friends in there as well. And yeah, it's very good to be able to have a good little way to express myself. It's a very safe place as well. A lot of like the places of the school or like clubs and things that I'm in are very safe things for students to be part of, and they know that like there's no trouble. So
I know that you had mentioned this earlier, but I know that you guys had to get a new technical theater teacher because your old one was fired. Can you please tell me your experience and the challenges you had to face during your junior year because of that?
so for us getting a new tech teacher, it was kind of a little bit messy because for a while we were so used to having the previous one as well. Kind of like the same situation with the new choir director, except this one, it was more like having to do with the play and the musical, and so a lot of things were kind of all over the place at first. Trying to figure out if are we actually going to be able to do this. Is it going to turn out right like they were previously and things like that. But we did when we did get the new one, it was pretty good. We all the students in theater actually got pretty close to him as well. And yeah, it was really nice. And he actually tried to work with us a lot, which I actually enjoy because sometimes people in like teachers and things like that and directors, they usually have things that go their way. But with him, he was willing to listen. Well, he is willing to listen to the students and work with us and not against us.
Well, I'm sorry for diverting the conversation a little bit, but I know you mentioned that you wanted to become an immigration lawyer and how because of that, you were part of your school's mock trial. Can you please go into your experience in that?
Of course. So, mock trial, it was the very first year that we did that. The school did that my freshman year. And we have someone at the school who is the only person with a law degree, so he was putting in like a lot of work for us to have it as a very good experience, so we can experience like how the law works and as well as court trials. And I really enjoyed that. A few of my friends were in that too, as well as me making friends with the people on opposing teams as well as my own. I was a defense attorney in that, and so um, it was really fun, but time consuming. And I know it will be time consuming being a lawyer, and that's part of the job. And I'm happy that I was able to get prior experience before actually, kind of diving into it blind or like head on without getting any like experience beforehand. And it was really enjoyable. And I really do think that it was a good thing to bring to school because a lot of students who weren't into law like that still joined and they came out really into law and they really did enjoy it. And I know a lot of people like have decided to become lawyers or working under the law because of that. So
You mentioned about the what the experience taught you. Can you please mention like some of the values you learned from mock trial, if you could?
yeah. So one of the main things that I really learned is that it is really good and it's so much better to work with the people and like communicate. Communication was like one of the main things. And at first, like I thought communication was like not too I wasn't too big on communication. But after that, like well during mock trial, I figured out well, I learned that I had to communicate more because I was kind of like to myself a little bit. And for the first part, we weren't getting anywhere really, me and the other defense attorney. And so I realized I was just like, well, I have to be more open about this and talk more. And yeah, it just really opened my eyes to see that communicating with people does a lot, especially in line of work that I'm trying to pursue.
I know you and your friends were the first ones to ever like found this club in not only your school but also district. Can you please tell me the opportunities that may have opened for other people who are interested in this?
So the opportunities, a lot of people uh seen that it's not like the law isn't as intimidating as it may look. And so there's also a chance for other schools to open up their own mock trial teams and have fun because in mock trial you get to um, explore like a whole new area with people who may or may not have experience in that too. So you're all kind of learning together. And I think that in like different schools would be a good thing because it will build a teamwork. As well as people actually, well, students actually being able to, have this like shared interest. Because not a lot of people like law or like enjoy things doing with the law. It is a very, I would say, like niche subject upon students, more like around this age. And so having like a little area for students who are into law to kind of go to that gives like students the opportunity to like be themselves and like um really like learn a lot about themselves and if if this career is kind of like for them. So yeah.
That sounds so inspiring. I'm sorry for pivoting again, but I remember that you mentioned that you were part of Interact. Can you please tell me your experience in that club?
Oh yeah. I'm the treasurer for Interact Club and it did better to help areas that were underserved in our community. And it also brought more attention to the special education system in the district, because those students really do get pushed to the side often, and it's one thing that we really noticed. And they're regular students just like any other student walking around. And so in Interact, we host events to make the students feel more included because it doesn't feel good to be excluded from things. And a lot of the times these students are actively excluded just because they're a little different, like they learn differently than other students. When in reality, we're all the same at the end of the day. These are students and they deserve to be treated like every other student. And yeah,
Thank you so much. I want to go into a little bit about, you didn't mention this before, but I know you're part of your school's BSU, and I know that your school, that thanks to the efforts that you did, that you brought your schools more attention to like the African American population to the point that they did like a conference with a couple of like of you and a couple of other students. Can you please like go into detail about that experience if you could?
of course. I had joined BSU my freshman year. And at first, it wasn't really like a big thing with the students because it was just like a little smaller, like a couple students going to meetings and kind of gathering. But we started to expand more, and ideas were kind of thrown about how to help us grow the club and how to bring more attention to African American students. Um, and eventually, it came that there would be an African American Student Summit. And at this summit, it was like a safe place as well for the African American students because it is known that there is a disadvantage that we do have a disadvantage in the school district with a lot of suspension rates and dropout rates as well because we don't really have the what's the word
Resources?
support that we really need to get us through this. So BSU is like, it helped a lot of students, and more students actually came to the student summits than we thought. And I thought that was really nice because more students are coming out of the shell and like realizing, hey, this is a safe place for me. And yeah, a lot of the students are, I would say, like a lot happier knowing that BSU is there for them and kind of like a place where we can all hang out, make more friends. And not to mention, BSU also reaches out to other groups as well to share like things like events so that other students can get the perspective of the Black students as well. Because once we share the perspective, then other people get an understanding, and with more understanding, we're like a step closer to closing all the disadvantages and gaps between the other students and the Black students.
I know that the summit that you mentioned was like a district-wide like involvement. Can you please mention like what happened in the summits if you could?
So during the summit, when we got there, it started off with a lot of people introducing themselves, like mostly like the school district board kind of introducing themselves, as well as people from colleges who were open to helping Black students get into them because a lot of Black students don't have the confidence to think that they can go to colleges. And so the people there from colleges saying, hey, look, I can help you. You're able to do this. Like, you can reach out to me. That was also one of the main things that a lot of students enjoyed. Along with the food, they really enjoyed the food there. But they spoke about how Black students like the disadvantages of like the learning rates, as well as the that I mentioned earlier, and the rates of fighting, as well as the repercussions that Black students face, and how they're more um, unequal compared to their other counterparts, where Black students face harsher punishments for things that other students may have done, and they get off with a less harsh punishment.
Okay.
And
Uh,
yeah,
I want to pivot again to like another thing that we mentioned before in our earlier talks, how you um are working currently with your choir director to bring back the AP music theory in your district. Can you please go more into depth with that if you could?
So I'm trying to reintroduce AP Music Theory to the district to inspire more to enter the arts in a more realistic fashion. And I hope that it can get picked up, even if it doesn't happen my senior year. I hope that it'll happen in the future because a lot of people aren't have these dreams and they're kind of like getting crushed a little bit because a lot of they are not really like learning the things that need to be done to like be able to go into this field ready with the knowledge that's needed. And so with AP Music Theory, if it's implemented back into the back into the curriculum, then it'll prepare these students and give them like a clear path to kind of start off instead of them just jumping straight into it.
About music theory and like how it should be added to the curriculum, I want to ask you more about what you think about the STEAM education compared to the old STEM one. This one now includes the arts and how I'm seeing how with music theory being added or encourage more people into the arts. Can you please tell me your opinion about this new STEAM education?
Um, well, I do think that it's very beneficial because more people are obviously going to be joining it. Um, and it's just gonna really have more students like really, pardon me, coming in um, and getting critical like experience as well as being surrounded by other people that are like them and like-minded instead of them kind of being like in their own section like away from people and things like that. So I do think that including the arts is very beneficial for the students. It also not only like the students now, but in the future, it can lead to like very big things for these students being able to do, especially when they have like a set place or like a set like kind of group to do it with, you know?
Can I please ask you what inspired you to go into the field of law? Because you still seem awfully inspired with it. So what was your inspiration to go into it?
Um, I would say my friends really inspired me for a part of it, as well as music being able to help me escape and kind of give me a way to like express myself because music is all about self-expression. And I'm very big on that. I have been struggling with expressing myself and my emotions for a while until I found music. And it really does help. Like, it's a positive way to get my emotions out and like kind of regulate myself as well as bettering a skill, garnering a skill. And I know that that's the same for a lot of people, especially artists. They always talk about how music has helped them and how they use music to kind of help cope. And I think that a lot of people who don't have um, a good or a positive outlet could also benefit from using music and the arts in general to help. And that's like the main reason why I do it. And the same with theater. Theater gives me an opportunity to really put myself up there on a stage and kind of put on a new self. And it just helps me get everything like negative out because on all this time on stage, we're like laughing and joking with friends. And yeah, it's helped me a lot. And I'm really grateful that I was able to join these things because I know that there are students that don't really have anything like this. And so I'm really grateful for being able to have music around me as well as being part of theater as well.
Thank you. To pivot again, I know you mentioned that you're part of your school's student Senate council. Can you please tell me what that is and your experience?
So Student Site Council, it's basically me and other like students being able to voice the concerns of the students and bring everyone's concerns to the people well, the main people who are in charge of the choices within the district. And my experience has been pretty good. I do enjoy it. I like to think that I'm doing a very good job with helping students be heard because everyone does deserve to be heard. Every voice matters. And if I'm the voice for the students, then if the student doesn't like anything, I can always help be able to change it. And that's one thing that I really want is for students to be comfortable in the school and in the district. And the way to do this the way for them to be comfortable is by them being able to voice their opinions and their concerns and see if we can work out a way to fix what the students don't really like.
That all sounds so amazing. Before we wrap it up, do you have anything else you would like to add?
What the Well, I do think that a lot of people, um, as I said before, will benefit from the arts being added. And I'm really glad that it was added. Super glad that it was because now a lot of people are going to be able to pursue the things that they want and know that there's a place for them. And I'm also very honored to be interviewed by you. Thank you so much, by the way. And yeah,
Thank you so much. I want to thank Nephetetti Twitter for joining us today for this week's on our series interviews project. If you're interested in getting interviewed yourself by our team, be sure to check our form and share it in the description below. We are always looking for new and interesting students. We interview everyone between the ages of 14 to 22, but will always be willing to make exceptions for grad students who are doing amazing work. We hope to see you again next Monday for our next installment. Thank you and goodbye.